I've been saying this for a while offline. I'm going to say it here. Um, Bill Belichick is on borrowed time, in my opinion. Like, this is a Cold War that's going on between the guy that's cutting the paychecks and the guy that's touted as inventing the Patriot way. Let's say they have another bad season this year, which I think is very possible in this AFC, conference that is still a hell in a cell compared to the NFC conference. They have another bad year. Like, at what point does Bob Kraft just rip the Band-Aid off and says, okay, like Bill O'Brien or Gerard Mayo, I think they tapped Gerard Mayo as the next head coach, are waiting in the wings. Like, this is going to be your show now. But I mean, there's clearly a divide between these two guys. And I think this is because Bob has been kicking himself for letting Bill let Tom walk out the door and win a Super Bowl from the jump in Tampa Bay as soon as he signed with them.
Now, hear me out, all right, with an open mind, okay? Mac Jones gets traded. Tom Brady comes back, finishes his career in New England. Let's go. LFG.
He's going to play with the old man? Okay, for argument's sake, what reconciliation is going to happen between Tom and the old man, Bill Belichick, when Bill can't even figure out the right way to motivate Mac Jones and push the right buttons to get this kid to actually buy into the fucking program? Talk me through how they're going to reconcile.
I didn't say it was a good, idea. I'm just saying, as a fan, I'd love to see that happen. I mean, no way in hell do I see that happening. No way in hell Tom Brady goes back to Bill Belichick. The divide there is just too big. We think the divide between Mac Jones and Bill Belichick is big. Tom Brady is bigger. So yeah, I'm just joking here. But I do think what could happen is, I do think, like I said, they don't see a big difference between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, except Bailey Zappi has a better attitude. So if Mac Jones is the guy that eventually is going to get you to the Super Bowl, then might as well start Bailey Zappi and draft another quarterback and start over again. Like, I know it sucks, but that's essentially where we're at right now. Reports have come out, they've fallen in love with DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA. They love that kid. They probably won't be able to take Anthony Richardson unless he falls at 14. So there are ways out of this. I just think that it's going to take a lot of convincing to Robert Kraft to go along with the plan. And I think ultimately Robert Kraft will go along with the plan because he doesn't want to lose Bill Belichick. Because if Bill Belichick does dig in his heels here, Robert Kraft's going to cave, just like he did with Tom Brady. Like, if Robert Kraft caved to Tom Brady walking, like, what the hell's Mac Jones here? Like, what are we talking about here?
Do you think, before we move on, like, do you think Bob is seeing parallels between, because you just mentioned it yourself, like, the divide between Tom and the old man is worse than what's going on with Mac and the old man. Do you think Bob Kraft is noticing a parallel between what is going on? And the only difference is Mac Jones is, I've heard that today, like, of the generation that is going to put everything on Front Street, whereas Tom might have been the good soldier, because you have people in the New England Patriot locker room, specifically, I believe it was Devin McCourty, that came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Mac Jones was a great leader in the locker room, and he was the guy, and he shows all the right qualities. Whether or not McCourty is blowing smoke up people's asses is open to interpretation, but there is a clear parallel as to why the old man has these divides with the franchise quarterback. Is it one of those deals of, like, I'm bigger than you, even though you're the guy, you're the quarterback on the team making these, Super Bowl runs and or going to the Pro Bowls and stuff? Like, do you think it's just simply ego?
This is what people don't understand. And I've been trying to say this for years now. Belichick's a petty man, and he's always been this way. He's always been this way from 2001. The thing is, they were winning back then, so a lot of it was covered up. But if you look at the track record, he burnt out Tom Brady and started fighting with him. He's burnt out Mac Jones and started fighting with him. He's basically burnt out Robert Kraft now, and he's fighting with him in a Cold War situation. The common denominator is Bill Belichick. He's just who he is. He's a curmudgeon old man that's just grumpy, and he wants you to respect him because he's the God's gift to coaching. It's always been like this from 2001. Back then, winning covered all it up. Winning's the best deodorant, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're losing. So, I mean, it's always been like that, Puma. That's just who he is.
That's why I think, like, this is going to be like Bob Kraft pulling a Denzel going back in time and deja vu. And it's like, not on my watch. Like, we're not doing this again. Like, I think Bob might genuinely either he might like the kid, or this might be like the hill that Bob is willing to die on. Is like,
But really, you're
I'm
gonna
not
die on
repeating
Mac
this.
Jones's hill? Like Bob Kraft is legitimately gonna die on Mac Jones's hill when he
I
didn't
think
die on
so.
Tom Brady's hill.
Because I think that because of the narrative that you said of on paper, Bill, Bob might own the team, but Bill is running that entire organization. I think this is going to be like
So
his
what you're so he's dying on that hill of Mac Jones, but in reality, it's a bigger conversation than he's
yes.
dying on the hill for. He's trying to get back the control of
Yeah,
the Patriots
Mac
organization.
Jones is
I
just a
can buy
means
that.
to an end.
I can buy that. I mean, if you phrase it that way, I'm totally on board because
Yeah.
Robert Kraft, somebody has to corral Bill Belichick. I mean, it's going to be hard to do now after 20 years of letting him run wild, but if that's the way that you paint it, then I can buy that definitely.
Mm-hmm. Put it on the
Yeah,
board within 24 months. Bill's going to be out of that building.
I can see that too. I can see that too because ultimately, the way I see this is Robert Kraft basically put Bill Belichick on the hot seat, just like you mentioned as well. Some of those comments he made last week were pretty poignant, especially the one about how at the end of the day, you win or you lose in this league. It's something to that effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe with this upcoming season in the AFC East, the Patriots are going to be either third or fourth, vying for that wild card spot. They probably might miss out on it again. Another 8-9 season, 9-8 season. That's not good enough for Robert Kraft. I think eventually he's gonna get pushed out the door. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time, just like you said.